Hello, this is Peter Bostwick,
And Beth.
and we're here to review another chapter of the book You Can Choose.
You can.
So today's chapter is Waiting is a Gift. So I wrote this chapter because I don't like to wait. I don't like to be the guy in the slow lane of anything for that matter. And waiting always feels like it's not getting me where I want to be. So I wrote this chapter realizing that there's a lot of benefits to waiting. So by waiting, you're actually able to take advantage of what is around you. You can be more present. So I wrote this chapter just for that reason, for myself as well as for everybody else.
And it's really important because so many times we're rushing through life and we want to get someplace faster, but the great thing about waiting as a gift is it allows other things to happen that are really what you want, and it's something that's pleasurable if you think about what you can gain from the wait.
Yep, so the waiting can be viewed as anxious. Oh my gosh, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? But can also be viewed as an opportunity to be present. I know that sometimes when I'm out walking or I'm sitting there someplace, it's like, oh my gosh, why all this time is wasted? But if I spend a minute and take a look around me, I can see that there's a lot to take advantage of, a lot to see, a lot to appreciate, and a lot of opportunity for me to become centered because of that opportunity to wait.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we really miss out on in being in a rush mode so many times is the presence you gain and the gifts that are around you that we don't really appreciate. And I think the whole pause, taking time for a pause, is really important because you get to see what's around you and appreciate not only your surroundings, but the people that are with you. And sometimes we don't always acknowledge that.
Yep, exactly. So I'd like to read a little bit as we go through here.
Yeah.
So waiting is a gift in disguise. Most of us think about waiting with dread. How many times have we demanded, how long is this going to take?
What is waiting? When does it change from a pause to a wait? Pauses are nice. We get to catch our breath. As a friend of mine pointed out, music without a pause is just noise.
Waiting is when what we want to happen doesn't. Our expectation is one thing, but what we see in front of us is something else.
We can focus on what's missing, or we can enjoy the pause. Focusing on what's missing aligns us with the gap. By doing so, we get more waiting and more anxiety.
Instead, remember you are always where you should be, doing always what you should be doing. The pause is a chance to get grounded, listen, and be present.
Very, very much so. So, it's all good. So one of the things that I think is really important about waiting as a gift is when you look at your everyday life, how you're rushing around, and oftentimes will find yourself saying to yourself, well, why is this person so slow? Or why can't I get this right? It's not efficient, it feels slow. But if you stop and you take the time to wait, spend time with your thoughts and even ask yourself, why am I anxious? Why am I in a hurry? Sometimes that gives you the space to see that if you're waiting, something better might happen for you. For example, when I'm out for a walk with the dog, I have a number of traffic lights to walk through, but if I find myself approaching a red light, I just think now, well, that light will change when I get to it so I can keep going, or it'll stay red because I should wait a little bit longer. And I'm learning to be comfortable with the wait. And then sometimes I find later on down the walk, the light turns green, or I waited because at the previous light because there was too much traffic at the next light, so when I got there I could just walk right on through. It works.
So for me, waiting sometimes brings on some anxiety, right? I'll be sitting there wondering, oh my gosh, when is this going to happen? How is it going to ever turn out the way that I want it to? And I feel a little bit of pressure on top of where I am. And what I've learned to do, and part of it is, again, why I wrote this chapter, is to take advantage of that time, to take advantage of the opportunity that I am and change some of that energy I have away from anxiety to being present, to being thoughtful about where I am, not what I have to do or what I want to do or the expectation I have, but where I am right now. Take a look, maybe simply looking at my hands, maybe looking around, looking at the scenario that I'm in, maybe looking around, taking a look at nature or the office or wherever I happen to be, and just be present. And I find that my anxiety can go away, and I find that whatever it is I need to do next will just show up for me. So I don't have this figured out 100%, but I do know that by waiting and by realizing that it's an opportunity for me to pause, I feel much more centered and much more able and capable of handling whatever's in front of me.
Yeah. And I notice it too. As a friend of mine pointed out, music without a pause is just noise.
As a friend of mine pointed out, music...
Really?
Yes. As a friend of mine pointed out, music without pause is just noise.
Noise.
We can focus on what is missing, or we can enjoy the gap.
Enjoy the pause.
We can focus on
See, we just can't do it without reading our paper.
Oh, yes we can. We just need to practice.
Get the book.